Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. Today we are bringing you our... Oh, sorry, you can go first.
I wanted to announce it.
Oh, I haven't told them yet. All I know is it's a top 10 of something.
It's a top 10 worker placement! Woo!
Worker placement, one of our favorite categories of games. We kind of define worker placement as where you have a worker or some tools of worker that you're adding onto a section of a board. It's giving you some kind of action or resource or something, but by you being there, it's blocking everyone else from going there.
Yep.
Or maybe it costs them extra resources to go, or they get a lesser version of it.
Yeah.
Something like that. So that's how we define worker placement. All right, so let's get started.
So my number 10 is Harry Potter House Cup. And I really like, you're playing as a house in Harry Potter. You're either like Ravenclaw or Hufflepuff. And so you have different characters.
Ravenclaw for life.
No, Hufflepuff for life. So anyway, so you're trying to build things up all together. So you have these different people, but you need them all to get stronger or to basically get better grades in their classes that they're taking. So I love that it's a Harry Potter thing that isn't about like defeating the big bad. It's literally about school. Like it's about getting better in school. And I just like that you're trying to go to these places to build your characters up so they can be better. So towards the end of the game, you can do the things that you need to do.
All right, so my number 10 is higher on someone else's list.
That's
whoever that might be.
I'm the only someone else right now.
You never know. Maybe someone else pops in. No one else is going to pop in. It's fair.
Yeah, okay. So my number 9 is Sulkin, the Mayan calendar. Oh my gosh, this game is so much fun. So you have to... do you have to place a guy?
Yeah, you place your worker.
But you have to.
You either place or pick up on your turn.
You have to do this. So when you place your workers, it's on this gear and it shifts, right? And so as it goes further along, it's like basically stronger and better actions that you can take. But the thing is, like Ryan said, you have to place or pick up. So if you place all your workers on there, you have to take one up on your next turn. And so it's just like difficult trying to figure out when you want to place them, when you want to do the other things, when you want to build to the structure that they're all building. And it is tasty. And last time I played, I beat my brother who like plays all the time online. So I feel awesome about that.
There you go. All right, my number 9 is Russian railroads. Basically, you have classic worker placement. You're placing and on the board, and what you're doing is you're moving your train. You're moving your goods along this track, but everything's kind of stopped up by the good in front of it. So you have to move your black resources before you can get your gray ones, and you have to move your gray ones further out before you can get your brown ones and your white ones. And they all mean something. I don't know. They're just colors to me when I'm playing. But yeah, there's a whole lot of things you can do. But going first really matters in this game, so there's a spot where you can modify the turn order track, so that way the next turn you get to take the good actions, right? So yeah, this is a classic worker placement game. I love it. Russian railroads.
My number 8 is Pendulum, and I feel really sorry about this game. I feel like, so there's 2 ways to play it, right? I love the real-time aspect where you're placing your bits or whatever they are in the actions, and you can't take them off until the sand timer moves. And that's when you can take it back and get whatever that was or pay to get whatever that was. And a lot of people didn't like the real-time action of that. I loved that. But there's also another way to play it, which I haven't heard a lot of people talk about, where you place it there and then you have this tracker and then you just move it down and it tells you
what things
shift. And so you don't even have to worry about the real-time aspect if you don't want it. And also the component quality of this game was fantastic.
All right, so my number 8, this is Kingsburg. This is a dice worker placement game. What I liked about this most is you could, let's say you rolled a 2, a 5, and a 4. You can place them on the 3 or the 2 spot, get whatever resources you get. The 4 spot, get whatever resources, and the 5 spot, get whatever resources you get. Or you can combine them all and move to the, whatever that math is, help me out.
I don't remember what you said.
I don't either. 11 maybe?
A bigger number.
A bigger number. The sum of those 3 dice, put it in that 11 spot or whatever, and get that bigger, better action. So that's kind of the name of the game, is trying to get those different resources so that you can get the most amount of points. I love this game, and it's really easy to block people too. So if you know that someone rolled 5, 5, 5, well, that 5 spots, you just put a 5 there quick, so then their turn's basically not going to be great. So I love Kingsburg.
speaking of dice worker placement, my number 7 is Chai Tea for 2. This was really fun, really simple, didn't take up a lot of table presence. One of the things that's fun about this one is that when you place, there's 2 different spots where you want to have strings like 3, 4, 5 with your dice, or there's another spot where you just want pairs. So you can beat somebody out. So if I put like 3 2s somewhere and Ryan like wants a better version of that, he can put 4 4s there. And all of a sudden he booted me out and now he gets the better turn or the better action of there. And I thought that that was really fun, that you can save and kind of hoard your dice in order to get the best actions in certain places and boot people out.
All right, my number 7 is Crisis. This is a game that's pretty hard to find, but if you can get your hands on it, I definitely suggest giving it a try. It's all about this crazy theme of a country has failed financially, and we are the people who are trying to build it back up, but at the same time, more importantly, profit off of that off of that destruction. So you're gathering resources, you're converting resources into other resources, and you are trying to make these improve the economy of the country, but as long as it benefits you more. And you have this chain, these factories that you're picking up, and you have these workers that you have. So you have workers that you place on the board in order to do the actions, but then you also have other groups of workers that you have kind of running these machines, running these factories that are going to produce points and goods. So pretty interesting.
My number 6 is Paladins of the West Kingdom. This is kind of just like a placeholder for all of the of West Kingdoms because they're fantastic and they're great and you should play them. But Paladins, what I think is fun about this is your individual tracker board, right? You're drafting workers, and then all the workers are different colors, which means that they can do different things. And on your player board, you really need everything. You need certain colors to be higher before you're even allowed to take certain actions on other parts of your board. So you're just trying to even that out and slowly build everybody up at the same time. You can't ignore anything, kind of like the Harry Potter game, but this is a lot more intense than that.
All right, so my number 6 is Lords of Waterdeep. This is a classic worker placement game. I keep on saying classic. I'm overusing that, but anyways,
classic worker placement. Yeah, it's so classic, Ryan.
It's classic. It's classic. It's at this D&D theme. The classic. Theme. And when I was playing this,
you know what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying.
When I was playing with friends of mine who are D&D players, they were getting a huge kick out of this thing. This little subtext was referencing some campaign we did 3 years ago or whatever, and they were loving that. And all the different things you send to fulfill these cards are these cubes, and they represent all these different workers and warriors and different things. I'm just so much more basic. I'm just like, all right, I need 4 orange, 2 blacks, 2 whites, cash them in, get the points, and move next thing. So that's just me. But what I really liked about the worker placement in this game was there's these extra action spots that you could purchase. Put them on the board. Now, why would you do that? It's an action spot that everyone on the board can take. Well, you put your little token on it that says it's your color. Whenever someone takes that action, you get some kind of minor benefit in return. So now people are kind of like, oh, I can go to the main board and get 2 resources, or I can go to Ryan's board and get 3 resources. So I'm just going to go there, but then I get 1 resource too. Yeah. So I like having those extra action spots that you can add onto the board.
My number 5 is Legacy, the Testament of Duke Ducracy, and this is one of my favorite games. It's on my top 20, I think, for sure. I really enjoy this game. It's a huge table hog, though. You think it's just cards, it's not a big deal, but it takes up everything. So basically, you are a matriarch or a patriarch of your family, and you're trying to leave the best legacy behind. So you have all these generations, you are arranging marriages, you're having children, you're trying to do good in the community, and you do all sorts of things, but here's the thing, you can't do all of them in a turn. Right? So you're trying to figure out when to do certain things in a turn, and if somebody else is doing something, then you can't do that thing, and you're trying to do it on your own board. And there's the things that they can't take is cards on the side. Ignore that. But you have this board, and you're trying to place things, you're trying to do stuff, but you can't do everything, and you just want everybody to get married and have babies and make you sound awesome.
You're dead anyways by the time the 4th generation happens. What do you care?
It's your name. It's your legacy. It's great. I love it.
It takes up a ton of space, though.
It does. Oh my gosh!
Because you're making a literal family tree of cards.
You are, and you think they're not huge cards, or I don't know what size things are called, but they're smaller cards, but it's just a lot of them.
Yes. All right, so my number 5 is The Colonists. Whew, this one's going to take up your night. This is a 3-4 hour...
Is this a classic one?
This is the classic worker placement game. It's, you're playing with 2 or 3 players. It's going to take, probably 3 or 4 hours. This thing is it's going to take up a lot of time. But what it is you're starting off with these tiles. And as the game goes on, you're adding more and more tiles, and you're expanding the table. So it ends up taking up, a whole giant table full of all these tiles. Each one of those tiles is an action spot where you can go, move your meeple there, take that action. You are gathering resources, you're converting them into higher and higher resources, and ultimately, as the rounds kind of keep on adding on, there are more and more scoring opportunities, more and more, because there's cards, the tiles come out based off how complex they are, I guess. So at the very last round, there's just a ton of really cool sounding tiles, and you want to rush your meeple over there to get them. But then someone might beat you to it too. So I really enjoyed The Colonists.
My number 4 is Buru, and this is I love the theme of this game. Look it up.
It's like Indonesian, really Polynesian,
nautical,
yeah.
It's just really fun. Before you take your actions, you secretly kind of bid on the strength of it, and that determines who gets the best version of that action. So I just think that's super fun, and one of the highlights of this game for me is that it is my sweet spot of gameplay that light to medium Euro is it's designed for me. I'm sorry, I said 4 times.
It's a classic.
It's
Bethany
it's like a classic. You know what I'm saying?
It's not even a classic. It's not even out yet. It's coming out later on.
Yeah,
but we had a chance to play it early.
Yeah.
And we loved it.
Oh gosh, it's my sweet. I said it again.
Oh boy.
It is my
it's late.
sweet
It's
spot.
Almost 9:00 p.m. where we are. Super late.
Yeah.
You can tell
I'm losing it. Buru.
Buru, number 4. My number 4, this is Raiders of the North Sea. In this game, you have one worker on hand at any given time. You place that worker down to take an action, but then your second half of your turn, you pick up a different worker, a different meeple from a different spot, and also take that action. I think that is a really cool way to get 2 actions at one time, for one thing. You can really set up your turns, and it makes what would feel like a 2-hour game in a 1-hour time frame, so you really get a lot of satisfaction out of it. But more importantly than that, there's several different colors of meeples, and each one can only go to certain areas, or they're better at certain things. So the meeple that you pick up on your turn, you're kind of planning ahead of where you want to place it on your next turn, because then you get to take that action and then pick up a different meeple. The board kind of expands and creeps up as your Vikings raiding the sea, so you kind of move up on the map as the game goes on. I really enjoy Raiders of the North Sea.
All right, everybody. My number 3 was actually Ryan's number 10.
Ooh.
And that is Tidal Blades Heroes of the Reef. I'm saying they're all super fun because they're all on my top 10, so I think they are all super fun. I'm saying this genuinely. So this game was super fun, and
oh man, we need a better adjective for you.
We do.
It was very enjoyable.
No, it was super fun.
It was like totes fun, yo.
Totes my goat. So in this game, there's all these different islands that you're traveling to. You're trying to prove that you're this awesome person, right? You're this awesome warrior because all these animals, these creatures are breaking in.
Half of your games are about islands. Settle down with the island games.
No, I think there's only 2.
All right, fine.
2 out of 10. But
That's
so
20%.
all the islands have an ability that you get when you go there, but depending on where you go, you also get an additional ability. And they're all different from all the different places. And you can also perform these feats of awesomeness at all the islands that you have to, right? That's not what they're called, but I like calling them feats of awesomeness now. Also, production quality of this game was fantastic.
And this is my number 10. I agree. What I liked about this game, as far as the worker placement goes, it was there's islands, and then on that island there's be 3 or 4 different actions. Where you go, you take that individual action from that individual spot, but then you also get a bonus for whatever island you landed on. So you get 2 for the price of 1 every time you go, which is so important. Yeah, there's only 12 actions you get throughout the entire course of the game. Yeah. So you really want to maximize the the combo of those things and time it all so that way you have what you need when you need it.
Yeah.
Whew, it's a good one.
Your 3.
So my number 3, this game is in my top 10 of all time. I'm so surprised. The way I did my ranking was kind of how I thought how good the worker placement itself was. So I was surprised that it wasn't higher, but it's still number 3. And that is Agricola. Often imitated Caverna, never duplicated Caverna. Got a tickle in my throat. Feast of Odin. And
That's not a tickle.
And man, I love this game. It is just so strong. The game ramps up really nicely. You have 4 rounds at first to get all the things you need before the harvest. Then 3 rounds. Then 3 rounds. Then 2 rounds. Then 1 round. So you have to really kind of get everything ramped up. You're gathering all these resources. You are getting animals. You are building this farm, which is a boring theme, but we're from Iowa, so we dig it. Okay. And also, this was the first game that I played, at least, that had like that whole like. Place your workers to get more workers in the it's like Stone Age, we go to the Love Shack and then all of a sudden you have a new worker in the next round.
Where did they come from?
It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Agricola, my number 3, so good, in my top 10 of all time.
Yeah, in my top 10 least favorite games of all time. There's a point of contention there. Anyway, so my number 10
Your number 10?
My number 2 is either Ryan's number 2 or number 1. Wait to find out.
All right, well, my number 2 is Francis Drake. All right, so this game, I've heard it talked about so many times, and I've just never gotten a chance to play it. And then recently we got to go to a gaming getaway and played it for the first time and just fell in love. What a great game. It's got 2 phases to each round. The first round is kind of like its own, kind of like a Takedo, where there's this track where you're going along getting resources, but you can never go backwards. So once you can go really slowly, go 1 action at a time, make sure you get every single resource from every single spot, but then you'll be the last one to get back to the base which affects the turn order for the second half of the round. Or you can jump ahead, strategically pick where you want to be, get the resources that you really desperately need and nothing else, so that way you can get higher on the turn order track. So then once you have all your goods, then you have a whole second phase of the game of each round where you actually use those resources to go out and you can fight other pirate ships, you can fight strongholds and different castles and things along the coast, and trying to get points that way. So there is 2 phases, and they're both kind of a worker placement in a way. A lot of fun. Francis Drake, my number 2.
My number 1 is a game I am just really obsessed with right now, and that is Genotype. So this game is all about genes. You're basically like breeding peas, right? So you want to have the peas that are...
Like we said, we're from Iowa. Farming games really rank high for us.
You want certain flowers, or you want them to be tall or short, and it's all about these Punnett squares on probability of how often something is going to happen. So you're trying to be somebody who could be in the different things, like the different characteristics of these pea plants. And so you're wanting to be there first or second because you need things on your own board, but you're rolling the dice, and so you might not even get what you need. And it's just like, I said like again.
It's all right.
Guys,
it's okay.
I am so sorry. It's fun, and I would definitely play it.
I mean, watch the movie too. Pea farming, the movie. All right, you guys, we've arrived to my number 1, and this is Bethany's number 2. This is Kanban EV. This is like the sequel or the reprint to Kanban. But boy, is this game awesome. First of all, the artwork's out of control good. Most of these games on our list have been, or at least on mine, not yours so much, but mine have been pretty dry in the artwork department. This game,
It's
Tool...
subtly wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. Every little decision just pops off the page.
Yes.
Looks so good. This is a Vital Lacerda game, and it is every bit as heavy as the Gallerist and all those other games of his, which I love. And in this one, this is all about automotive car parts, and you are designing them, you are building them, you are installing them, you're testing them and putting them on these raced cars to see how fast they can go, that kind of thing. This game features my board gaming hero, my
Your
role model, as it were, Sandra, the supervisor. She, I'm the boss of my department. She is the boss of this game. She roams the board from department to department, making sure that everyone's doing their training and that they're doing their proper, they've achieved enough things for her to be okay with you.
Yeah.
Which I just love that Sandra energy.
There's like this intro in the book where she's talking to, and she's like, I'm going to make sure that you're doing your job and that you're getting all the training you need.
Or
but
else.
She's totally like BA, like, you like her.
Oh, I love Sandra.
Yeah, you
But
you wanna do well to impress Sandra.
Exactly. But if you don't, she comes down like a hammer. And you don't want that.
Yeah.
But also, the worker placement part of this game is really interesting because there's times. You get, basically 2 hours of shifts or 3 hour shifts, depending on where you go in the turn order track. And it all kind of works from the top down. It's hard to describe without showing you. Check out our full review for more action on that. But, so you can place either a 2 hour shift or a 3 hour shift determines how many actions you get. The higher up you go, but also it's kind of a risk. Like, is someone going to beat me to it? Is someone going to resolve that before I get to it? And then how you finish that action determines how the next one goes too. So
just
the worker placement,
like that.
exactly, it's very, very smooth. But the worker placement is just you have that one worker and it's you.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below games that you feel like we agree on. Like, heck yeah, that's a worker placement game that we love. Or games that we missed. Games that we don't have on our list. Or games that you're like, Ryan and Bethany, are you sure? All of it. We want to hear from you. Until then, make sure to subscribe to us right here so you can see our videos as they come out. You can also find us on Facebook. We're Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. On Twitter, we're Ryan and Bethany 1. And on Instagram, we are Ryan and Bethany.
All right, you guys, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.